This is a disclaimer. This podcast features four professional idiots who share their insights and anecdotes. This podcast is intended for entertainment purposes only. This podcast represents the opinions of the guests and should not be taken as medical, legal, or professional advice.
God, you scared the crap out of me. It was dead silent. I was in the middle of reading an article.
What's our topic for today? Because I don't really think I figured that one out.
Privacy. Can you read? Do you read the texts I send you?
Kind of.
It's going to be something like privacy matters or why it matters.
Oh, sure. Yeah, I've got a lot to talk about on that issue.
I'm glad you come prepared.
Oh, I mean, you pick a topic and I can just talk about it regardless. So
yeah, that's fair.
Just so you know,
prepare somewhat. What do I know?
Going to Cancun again in August, the 18th through the 24th. You're welcome to come.
We will have a 3-month-old then, so we'll see.
But Sean and Sonia are coming with.
Okay, sounds good. Cool.
Yep, all inclusive.
Just talk to
pool, drinks, food, all of it. Oh, you did?
Yeah.
For the first time in forever.
Well, I've called him every weekend for the last 3 weeks, and every time it's and including a couple times after my workday, and it's always oh, sorry, man, I'm in the middle of doing dishes. I'm like, what? You told me to call you at this time. Hi, Ronan. What are you doing, dude? Go with your mama. You gotta go with mama now.
No.
Why are you being so fussy right now, bud? What's wrong? You want to see Uncle Pat? That's Uncle Pat.
Oh.
You say hi. That's Daddy's brother.
Oh.
You say hi to Uncle Pat.
Hey, Ronan.
I see you've done a good job wrangling him.
I'm gonna kill you. Come on, Ronan. Come on, Ronan. I told you not to go upstairs.
I signed up for another chess tournament finally. It's been a year, actually. So, yeah, dusting off the cobwebs. And so after I'm done with this, I'm going to log on to my coach's website and continue to work through a course of his.
Awesome. You going to challenge Hikamura next? Is that what's happening?
Yeah. No, there's no chance. Yeah, there's very little chance of that. My rating's 1151, brother. I mean, it's not 20, 25, 11. So,
I mean, wasn't it? So, well, okay. So here's the thing. What was his name? Oh,
Gary Kasparov.
Hans Niemann was the one who
they said he was cheating.
Cheated, right?
Yeah.
But wasn't there? There was a chess player who lost every match in the tournament except when he played.
Magnus Carlsen.
Yeah. And then that ended Magnus Carlsen's 2.5-year win streak. We're just waiting on Ben. Probably another 5 minutes.
A guy named Karthik Murali.
That's what it was.
Yeah.
He lost every match except his match against Magnus Carlsen, which is wild to think about that he would go through and lose. I mean, these are chess grandmasters. It's not just fucking you and me. But to what a weird upset to go through, lose every single match.
Well, he's an Indian player, so they're just magical.
Magical.
Yeah, actually, I ran into this guy.
Don't follow the rules.
I ran into this guy in an airport. He just standing in line to go through the security. Thank you,
Benjamin. Oh my God, your beard is even bigger.
How goes?
It goes. Are you in your office now, Pat?
I am in Alex's bedroom,
aka your office.
It's when he actually took his PC with him this time, so now I can permanently leave my device up here, and I can actually come up here quietly, like I was telling you, put on the headphones and work on my chess classes. So.
Yeah, my room is now too big or too full. I need a bigger game room because I have too much stuff in it. And
you have another kid on the way, so you better get a bigger place, right?
Well, we're gonna move when that happens. So
I don't think I knew that.
Oh yeah, Nicole's like
they're
6 months
having
pregnant.
a baby. So,
What?
Yeah. Well, the thing is, we haven't made like an official announcement. It just didn't happen. We were waiting to mainly tell her work to make sure she got her PTO approved because her work is evil, and that's not hyperbole. That's just how I feel. So
she works.
No, she works for.
Oh, she works.
So
now this is where you play the.
Her work is the devil.
That's just where you play the Imperial March.
Yeah,
right there.
Yeah.
Because I remember
it. My soundboard that I totally have set up and ready to use. There, okay, Matt, with the power of editing, the Imperial March is now playing.
Sweet.
Copyrighted, right?
That's awesome. No, not at all. John Williams has no rights to that whatsoever.
Play a different key. Slightly off.
Okay. It'll just be like one key is off, like ba 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 burr, ba ba burr. Welcome back, everyone, to Overqualified Idiots. I am Dan Casey, MD. I'm a primary care sports medicine specialist, and I am joined. Oh, fuck! I already fucked up the intro. It's been a while. If you haven't been here and listened with us before, this is a podcast where medicine, law, engineering come together in order to shoot the breeze, share our stories, talk about a given topic, and hopefully make you laugh. I am joined today by my brother, as always, Patrick, Casey, JD.
Hello there.
Is there a delay? That took a while. I don't know if you're just slow or not.
No, I just paused in my intro there. Just, a dramatic pause. Hello there.
General Kenobi.
Damn it,
Yes.
I was going to say that.
I know what you were going for. You're Ewan McGregor's twin.
Chubbier, broken nose twin, but yes, the twin nonetheless.
Always with the nose. I never noticed it until you pointed out. I don't think anyone notices it until you point it out.
Nose is
Noses it. Ha!
There's
the sound effect from the soundboard I'm totally using.
Right.
And as you've already heard, we have Bengineer, our friendly neighborhood rocket scientist. Oh yeah, satellite wrangler, satellite daddy. I like that.
Danny, not daddy.
Oh, I like that.
I like daddy better.
I liked what I said better.
I'm a satellite zaddy.
Satellite zaddy. Oh, that's beautiful. Oh man.
But yes,
so,
is I.
So we've got law, engineering, and medicine together. Unfortunately, we lost our pharmacists. I don't know what happened to them. I've got to make more pharmacist friends. I think they're just too busy between PJ collecting jobs like they're the Infinity Stones, and Ramon couldn't handle the spotlight. But that being said, we have a lot to talk about today. Yeah, all 12 of our fans, I know. Actually, before we get into things, I have a couple housekeeping things to talk about, which I should clear up and get out of the way first. So basically, don't look at me like that. Don't look at me in that tone of voice. One thing is I got to put out a disclaimer about something I said on the podcast in a prior episode. I talked about exercise recommendations and what the medical recommendations were. I think it was during the Q&A episode. And I talked about how 30 minutes of moderate intensity exercise 5 times a week, but also 15 minutes of very intense exercise. The disclaimer is you have to not have a heart condition. It is actually it's not recommended to do intense exercise if you have any sort of heart condition. I don't normally feel like I should have to say that, but I guess I should say that because there's...
All right, folks, here's the thing. Find out what your peak heart rate should be for your age and your weight. Once you find out what that number is, have a monitor. So if you're exercising, just because it seems like it's light or moderate exercise, if you are out of shape, your heart rate could go above your peak. if you're not paying attention to it. Yeah, Ben's raising his hand. You guys don't see that. Yeah, if he started doing like mild or moderate exercise, he may have a heart rate way beyond his peak, and he needs to stop immediately. So, yeah, I don't understand why you have to say that or why we have to explain this, but because the lawyer knows, who doesn't have any medical training, I monitor my heart rate every time I go to the gym. As soon as it gets to the peak heart rate, I stop. I just stop what I'm doing, and I walk around until my heart rate comes down, or I do anaerobic exercise, which typically doesn't peak your heart, like cardiovascular. Whatever, it's fine. You're fine, Dan. Nobody's going to sue you.
I think it's one of those things. It's one of those things where we still take for granted how much we know. We think it's common sense, but common sense is not common. And I think I've told stories on here, the things I've had to explain to people, like, hey, if you want to get pregnant, don't use a condom. There's a lot in terms.
Yeah, that was a good story. I like that one. That was a good one.
I've got more like that. We gotta.
Oh, I know you do.
Feel like the story time episodes need to make a comeback more often.
Well, we can do it next week.
The other disclaimer is something I learned that makes me less of an idiot. So I have had, I think, I don't know, somewhere between 8 to 10 people in my own personal life, friends, colleagues, even acquaintances, come up to me and ask me if I've burned down any buildings with some cardboard lately. And I'm finally going to put the record to rest. You can put cardboard into the oven safely. This is not a disclaimer. However, you cannot put it above the temperature of... I know this. 450 degrees. So I'm just going to set the boundary and say you can put cardboard into the oven at 400 degrees to warm something up, but don't leave it. Keep an eye on it. Don't leave it alone.
But frozen pizzas usually heat somewhere between 375 and 425 based on my recollection. Not that I've eaten one in the last 4 or 5 years, but...
yes, so realistically,
that is correct.
It is safe. And that's why I haven't burned many houses down. It's fine.
You put it, assuming that your stove was working as intended. Not all stoves do.
Yeah.
Just
okay, so disclaimer. If you have working equipment, also monitor it. Also put it at a temperature well below what is expected.
Don't put the fucking cardboard in with the pizza. How's that?
It's fine. I got some churros from Costco. Shout out to Costco. You can sponsor us anytime you want.
R.I.P. Costco churros.
That's right. I forgot they're going away. Oh,
how gone.
How relevant.
The 800 calorie cookie is here.
That's probably going to be better.
That's like every cookie at Crumble. So yeah, Crumble, you can definitely sponsor us anytime.
We'll take cookies in payment. It's fine.
They give you diabetes, but they're good.
We celebrated my birthday and John, the insurance actuary. We celebrated our birthday on the same day. I haven't even told that story. Like, John is like my new best friend. He and I are like the same person. I joke around that he's my reincarnated. He's me reincarnated. I just haven't died yet. We found out after being friends for like 5 months, just randomly, that we have the same birthday on the same day. And never came up. That's just guys being friends, is you don't learn intimate details about each other's lives unless it's happenstance. So we celebrated our birthday on the same day. We got Costco pizzas, we got Costco churros, and I looked it up and I was like, God, I want to put this in the oven at like 200 degrees to just keep them warm because I'm not ready to go to the thing yet. And I'm like, it burns at 450? You mean it's fine? I can leave them in there if I just keep an eye on it and, stop it if I see smoke?
We're still talking about the cardboard.
Yes, I'm still talking about the cardboard. I'm not over this.
What does it have to do with the topic?
We're not there yet. Anyways, that's my small talk. That's my house. I won't small talk anymore. You guys talk about your lives. That was
Ben, mine's boring. You go first.
Mine's boring too. I have a puppy.
Oh, fuck you guys. Fine, we're gonna start with the topic. I hate you guys.
No. Wait, hold on. All right. I wanted to hear about his puppy.
Oh, you have a new puppy. I heard something else. Go ahead.
No, I have a puppy. And she's a little hellion. And kind of looks like Blossom as a puppy.
Oh.
Pulling up. Let me just go to my camera roll.
Oh, that really like Blossom. Is it cute? What's her name?
It is Luna. Luna Godzilla.
Luna Godzilla.
Full name is Luna Godzilla Puppersmith.
I like it.
Because this one's name is Winchester Get Off the Counter Caddington.
think Freddy's name is Tripping Hazard. So I feel that cat likes to bolt between people's legs like it's his job.
It is his job.
No, it's not.
Between ships and the biscuit factory.
So ultimately, I wanted to get into a topic that I think is pretty important for, well, all of our fields. And it comes down to, why does privacy matter? Ultimately, in medicine, in law, I'm going to just throw out like space exploration and patents and government secrets type stuff. I don't know if in terms of specifically to what you do.
Oh, I'll get into it.
I'll be able to let you speak to it. Well, tell you what, if you got things to talk about, I could go on, and I've talked enough already. I would let you kind of take the floor, Ben, as far as what about in your line of work with space engineering, with rocket science, with being a satellite zaddy, what part of privacy matters in your line of work, and how does it sort of play into your day-to-day? Or other engineers' day-to-day?
So this is specifically an aerospace, like space engineer thing that a lot of people probably haven't heard of this. Pat, you may have heard of ITAR, the International Traffic and Arms Regulations.
Yes.
No, I haven't. Go for it.
So basically, ITAR is there so that, you can't just show how a tank is being made because then other people can copy it. Obviously, for good reasons in like space stuff, rockets are the same as nukes with different targets. They just are.
I like that.
I definitely ripped that quote off from one of the very old rocket scientists saying, it's not my fault that I think it was Werner von Braun, actually. Like, the rockets work, they just went to the wrong place.
A Bengineer original. Got it.
But basically, you can't show things about how rockets are made because then people could reuse them to the bad guys, and I'll put that in big ol' air quotes, could use them to remake them into nukes or ballistic missiles. And this is a reason that a lot of people probably don't know this. The GPS you have on your phone, or like if you have a hiking GPS, which tend to get better signal than your phone GPS, if they go above a certain altitude and or above a certain speed, they stop working.
Oh.
Because they don't want you using them as guidance on a missile.
Oh. Is that built into the satellites using the GPS to locate you?
Yes. That is.
So it's like a safety measure.
Right. And there's obviously like the government side of that, of the GPS satellites, the military side, where they can. But I don't even remember if it's hardware or software, or it's probably hardware. You need hardware that allows that lockout to not be there. So, yeah, things like that. But
okay,
go ahead. Oh, no, go ahead. I was going to
ask. I was like, I've got more questions. I've got dumb questions that I love. Do you know generally what the speed is that they cap at? Because what if you got a really, really fast vehicle? Or, I know that fucking Google Maps lags behind everywhere I drive, and I had to take a turn 5 feet before, turn right now. The stop
it's
sign.
Like 510 meters a second.
Oh, I think I can go that fast. What is that in American?
That's notably, that's also 1,100 miles an hour.
I don't think I can go that fast. Okay. All right. So we're fine. We're safe.
And the altitude is 59,000 feet, which is notably above.
I was going to say.
That's above what regular commercial airliners do. Not honestly by too much, but it's still above.
Right. Because we talk about like 50,000 cruising, whatever. What about jets and what have you? I'm assuming that
they don't go that fast.
Military.
Military has that unlocked, but commercial jets don't go that fast. Like,
okay.
If we get so it is above the speed of sound, notably by quite a lot.
Oh man,
it is specifically made for missiles that are going really fast.
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, that technically is not covered by ITAR. That's a different thing called COCOM, but still, it's things like that. And obviously, like, this is a good thing. This is, you don't want somebody using your videos of, hey, look, we're building a rocket as IKEA instructions to build their own rocket.
Makes sense.
It's the purpose of I was reading the ITAR provisions, and that's the purpose is to keep that out of other person's hands, and basically a lot of NDAs, and people have to qualify under certain things before they can see the information.
Notably, the lowest qualification for ITAR stuff is being an American citizen.
Yes.
Which is the lowest, most hilarious level of top secret or secret is you're an American citizen. Don't worry, you can see this now. So where this really gets weird is, and like overall, as a boilerplate, this is good. This is fine. It gets weird because of there a lot of engineers and a lot of in a lot of engineering programs, there are a lot of foreign students, China, India, that kind of stuff. Fun fact, India is not one of our allies, which means India isn't in the breach of ITAR. So if you are an Indian student who is studying aerospace engineering and say you're studying propulsion, which tends to be the biggest thing shrouded in ITAR is making rocket engines, you have a very, very hard time getting like an internship in this country.
Oh, wow.
Because you straight up, one of the things is just, sorry, you have to be an American citizen.
That's why they all go and become doctors.
It's just things like that where it's like, I get it, but at the same time, what are you going to do? Like,
I just didn't know India wasn't an ally by definition.
To do a very brief history lesson, this goes back to they're actually an ally of Russia, and during the Cold War, we picked the other side. So our ally is Pakistan.
Oh, okay.
Because India is an ally of Russia.
There's a lot to unpack there in that sense.
You can go back and look at some stuff and be like, oh, that is weird. Why didn't we okay, it's because we're allies with Pakistan.
Yeah, right. There's a lot of history in that. Okay.
So, that's the big thing is it all goes back to the Cold War, like a lot of this stuff.
Yeah, that makes egregious amounts of sense. So, circling back to what you originally said as far as like the ITAR like provisions themselves, this is the whole like, okay, we don't want you building bombs in your basement. We don't want you having instruction manuals. This is why maybe not tangentially related. You can't Google how to make napalm and those types of things. And those sort of instruction manuals are all illegal. It's all on the same idea as far as keeping weapons out of the hands of an everyday person or someone who would just very clearly do bad with it.
Yeah. I mean, I'm like, even on the Wikipedia article, ITAR does not just talk about, it's obviously space is a circle I'm in, so that's where I hear it talked about, but it's, military electronics, nuclear weapons, spacecraft, explosives, ammunition and ordnance, guns and armament. Yeah, there's a lot of things covered under ITAR. But then it gets really crazy where the SLS is NASA's biggest, newest rocket. It's launched once. It'll eventually launch again at some point.
Okay.
And when there was a big, long campaign to fuel it because it is hydrolox. It uses liquid hydrogen and liquid oxygen. Not going to get into the specifics. Those are very good, but very, very, very hard to use because hydrogen is very small. So they weren't showing the fueling, and they claimed it was because of ITAR.
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, it's one.
I guess that falls under that if you...
Nobody is going to make a hydrolox missile. It is...
Can you talk about why that would be a problem?
The keeping hydrogen cold because you want it to go in as a liquid so that you can get it. It's more compressed, so you can get more of it. But keeping it cold is a pain in the butt. And then it leaks out because it's just so damn small. It is hydrogen. It's the smallest element. Well, it's H2, but it's the smallest element. So it's like leaking out of any tiny little thing, any hose, it'll like just kind of leak out of unless you have very crazy hoses.
Oh, it'll like diffuse through solid material?
A little bit. Well, not like all the way, but like any slightly porous material. Yeah.
Oh, that makes sense. Small
and
element.
You tend to not have metal hoses. Those are called pipes.
So circling back to the ITAR thing then, like, why would you bother? I guess, what are you protecting at that point in that context?
Right. Like I said,
maybe that's a bad example.
Overall, I agree with Itar, but it gets taken to such crazy extents where it's just like, really?
Who are you protecting here?
Yeah. What are you protecting? So another thing, and this is getting into the weeds, up inside of a rocket like nozzle, it's called the bell of the engine, the big thing you see coming off the bottom where the flames come out of. If you look straight up in there, there's a thing called an injector plate. And those are very specifically designed. There's whole classes about designing injector plates. Those tend to also not get shown. That is fine. That I totally agree with. For instance, if you see a rocket at a museum, usually they'll have something in front of the injector plate.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, they'll have like just a piece of wood. Yeah, it's there. First of all, so that like birds and shit don't nest in there, but it's also so that you can't see the design of the injector plate. That's what sprays the oxygen and whatever propellant you're using into light.
Into combust.
Yes.
So, okay, that makes more sense.
I guess that's up further, but yeah.
And that's what's going to make rocket go. So that makes more sense to me in terms of protecting that information, because you don't want Billy Joe Jim Bob building a rocket in his backyard, even though he's going to try anyways, because he doesn't need to know how to build an injector plate.
There was a movie about that.
What movie?
Kind of. What was it called?
Rocket Man?
No, it wasn't. It wasn't Rocket Boys. Good movie. It was like. It was the astronaut farmer.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh my god.
With
Billy Bob Thornton. I didn't do that on purpose, by the way. That just kind of happened.
That's what made me think of it, is because I'm like,
I forgot this movie existed.
1996. It is fine.
Okay, it's fictional. All right, good.
It's
fine. NASA astronaut built a rocket in his backyard. Isn't that during the heyday of Bad Santa too? That's like when that movie
was
came
just
out.
Before Bad Santa, but I could be wrong.
It's just funny to think, because Billy Bob Thornton's a great actor, but I forever will only associate that role with him.
Oh no, Bad Santa 2 was in 2016. When was original? Oh God, why the picture of Billy Bob Thornton on IMDb has him with a freaking soul patch.
2003. Wow.
Yeah, so that was in between.
Weird. He got big with Bad Santa and then took on a serious role of a movie that no one remembers. That's okay. Good for Billy Bob Thornton.
Anyways.
So,
I thought he got big for that movie where he goes, I thought that was his breakout role. Like Sling Blade, I think it was called.
Oh, God, I'd forgotten about Sling Blade, too.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. No, there was no Sling Blade 2. There was just Sling Blade.
And then he was on Fargo. Interesting.
He was in Wyatt, or what was it? Tombstone.
Oh,
well.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And Armageddon.
Well done.
Yeah. Well, okay. That makes sense. I knew that.
He's a rocket scientist in that movie.
I've covered this. First half of that movie's great. Second half of that movie, oh God.
It shouldn't exist.
You mean it's not? You mean it's not real? You mean it's not all accurate? Oh my God! It's mind blown.
Bay told, who was it? Who was questioning him? It may have been Bruce Willis, but it was somebody else.
It was, and Michael Bay. And his Bay's response was, "Shut the fuck up and act."
Why wouldn't you just train astronauts to drill instead of training drillers to become astronauts? Shut the fuck up. Don't question me. I'm the director. That's great.
We've gotten off on a tangent of a tangent. Holy shit.
That's what we do.
Were we talking about privacy?
Yeah. Do you have anything else, Ben?
No, I think I can get off my soapbox now. ITAR's good. It is used very bizarrely sometimes, and sometimes just like, cool. I can tell you how hard it is to get a job in the space industry without an internship. It's a pain in the butt. And you're just not allowing some people to have internships because.
Well, that seems like a limiting thing. I kind of get where it's coming from in terms of the history, but you would think we would catch up. But with the way our legislation works, I'm surprised that we're not being surprised.
I mean, two things. One, they're probably national security interests at stake. They won't change it for fear of, something bad happening. The other is
for fear of
this
fear.
Congress is the is the do nothing Congress. I think we learned when we were in social studies back in grade school and high school about the so-called do nothing Congress that was approximately 100 years ago. This Congress is the worst in the history of our country to do nothing. And you know what? I love it. The less they do, the less they screw up. If they do nothing, then things don't get worse, it seems. But
I mean, that's fair.
Except for the debt. But do you want me to talk about privacy, or are you going next, Dan?
Well, I was about to say, I was like, hasn't it passed like a record low number of bills in history?
Yeah, they are the do nothing Congress now. They've overtaken
27 bills. Which
last I knew it was 22, but yeah, 27
wow,
is still.
They got 5 more.
Yeah, it's still less than
in a year. Anyways, okay, yes. Talk about privacy in the context of law. Why does it matter? Does it matter?
Well,
do we overdo it?
We have these protections purportedly to protect privacy, although it's not specifically enumerated within the U.S. Constitution, and other constitutions in the country have it in theirs. But the reality is, the way that things work is we don't really have that much privacy anymore. We share with third parties information about purchasing habits and things that go out. And once you share something with someone else, it's like the old adage, like 2 people can keep a secret. But once it's shared with someone, it's no longer private information. So additionally, most states have laws against having tint in the windows of your vehicles. So there's no expectation of privacy outside of your home, really, in this day and age, especially with the advent of cameras being placed everywhere and things to that effect. And I mean, realistically, how private are your conversations on your cell phone? I mean, have you seen that person that doesn't have earbuds that's just walking around with their phone like it looks like they're carrying a platter, but their phone is in their hand? And you can hear both sides of the conversation. I didn't say it, you did. But anyways, you can hear both sides of the conversation, and there's no privacy there. So we do things with technology and with information in this day and age that just kind of just vitiates any notion of us having any kind of privacy. It realistically is confined to the 4 walls of our home, and even then with technology. And if you have Alexa, or if you have OK Google, you don't have any privacy at all. Now, thankfully, I don't have any of that.
OK Google, hey Alexa, OK Apple, hey Siri,
whatever it is.
Right now.
Yeah, whatever it is, again, they're listening to the things that are going on in your home. From that perspective, I don't want to invoke 1984, but it's kind of like that at this point as far as expectation of privacy at any point in your life. Obviously, there are certain government and or quasi-government agencies that can't share data. And most corporations in this day and age have TOSs, or also known as terms of service, that do have some privacy protections. Most notably, if, say, law enforcement were to subpoena your Google records or your Alexa records or location information through your provider, those providers are going to give you notification before they turn over your data now. It's required by federal law. So that you have you have a legal recourse to move to quash a warrant, so that if they don't have the right to see your private data and they don't have a legal basis to obtain it, you can fight them before they get there. Now, most people aren't going to know to or have the means to do that, but there are some privacy protections that third parties implement and are required to do so because the federal government has acted or a state agency has acted and put them in a position to do that. But in most respects, you put your debit card or your credit card out there and you're going to purchase something or you're going to buy stuff. That's not private and can be shared from one company to the next. And, so the idea that we have a lot of privacy rights in this day and age it's pretty limited because of not just technology, but how we utilize that technology and how we approach it. Now, are there cases and laws that protect our privacy? Of course, the Fourth Amendment still exists. It hasn't been completely eviscerated, although it has been destroyed significantly over the years with exceptions and exemptions that defy logic and reason, but are designed for public safety concerns.
Can you give some examples?
Well, the so-called exclusionary rule is got a truck driven through it back in the 90s with the good faith exception, that if an officer was acting on a good faith belief regarding information that was absolutely 100% false, that the search would still be found valid. Now that's been kind of tempered down. Yes, I know. The case was out of I believe out of Arizona, and the guy was stopped because he didn't have. It said that he didn't have a valid license. It was revoked or suspended, and then as part of the incident to a lawful arrest, they searched the vehicle and found drugs. So his attorney sought to suppress those drugs because he had his license and the record was wrong. It was uncorrected or incorrect, but because the officer acted in good faith on the belief that that record was accurate. Now, that's been stretched, extended, and I mean, let's be honest, law enforcement is, they're trained to lie to you, to get you to consent to searches all the time. But they're realistically, the protection for privacy is the warrant requirement to your person, papers and things, as the old language would show. But
which is important, I think, because like in Europe and in certain European countries, my understanding, this is all like Google research, so don't take this as the gospel truth, but my understanding is that like there are certain laws passed in certain European countries where officers can ask you to open your phone and they can search through it if they choose to. Yeah. And that is considered lawful. That is not here in the States.
It is. Is it? And correct me if I'm wrong, Pat, because I think this is also like Google stuff. I heard that if you have a password, they cannot have you enter your password. If you have it like thumbprint or face print, that they can have you do.
They can just take your phone and throw
the short answer to that is no. They can't forcibly put your fingerprint on the keypad. They can't forcibly force you to give them the password. However, most people shit their pants when they deal with cops and will just do whatever they tell them, even if they don't have to. Even if the cop lies to them and says, "Yeah, you got to do this," even if it's somewhat coercive, if it's not a threat, then typically it's going to be upheld as a consent search. But what I'd suggest is do not have your phone open by face, because if they take your phone from you because they believe a crime is committed and the phone is a part of that, now it is evidence. And if they just got to push it in front of your face to get it to open, they've done nothing that's intrusive. No, but if they force you to if they take your thumb and force it on the phone when you're resisting and saying, no, you can't search, that's a completely different story. So it's just very fact driven. And so, yes, I have mine both passworded and thumbprinted. So because I have confidential information on my phone and no one should be able to access it but me. And, I've always kind of got that, hypothetical fact pattern of, I want to see your phone. I'm like, you can't. And they're going to go, why? And I'm going to go, because I have confidential information on my phone that it would be unethical for me to allow you to review. And they go, well, I just want to see this. And I said, I don't care. You get a warrant. And then I'm going to move to limit or quash the warrant. If you try to search my phone, if you take it right now, I'm going to ask Verizon to shut it off, because you can't access my client's information via the email. You cannot do it. You cannot go through my billing app and find all of my client lists. You can't. So you try to do it, I'm going to take every measure, and you can charge me with obstruction of justice. I don't care. But my law license is way more important to me than whatever you think I've done. So
you said something important there, I think, because you talked about
maybe
there's ethical and you said a lot of important things, but something struck a chord with me. You said that there is protected information on that phone, client protected information. Can you speak a little to what clients and like attorney-client privilege, any kind of overarching themes and opinions you have about that? Because that'll kind of segue into what I have to talk about pretty well.
Yeah, the most common situation where I protect client confidentiality is when a new client comes in and says, "Oh yeah, so-and-so referred me," and they say you're a great lawyer. Otherwise, why would they be there, right? And I go, I have no idea. And I have no idea. I go, I have no idea.
The billboards. Maybe it's the award-winning articles and yearly gold medals that you get. Oh, by the way, I got to vote for that thing again.
Yeah, I know. I didn't. I haven't sent it around, so you just have to be patient. It'll go out. Now that you mention it, now that you mentioned it, I'll send the link out again. No,
it's the same link from yesterday.
I know it is, but it's a reminder when you get that text, you're more likely to do it.
You're right.
But no, you have to maintain your client's confidences even if they do not, except for very narrow circumstances. So somebody tells me something that's not intended for public consumption. It's in my brain and it doesn't leave there and it doesn't go to anybody else. It could be about the case. It could be about something completely not involved in the case, and I can't share it with anybody. And there's very finite circumstances where I can share that information. I'll give you a couple of examples. One, and the most common, where I'm forced to give some confidential information. It's usually when the client waives that confidentiality and just starts talking about what a horrible attorney I am and the horrible advice I gave and how wrong I am about how his case should proceed. Once they waive that privilege and they're personally attacking me, at that point, there is a limited amount of ability for me to disclose some confidential information, as limited as I possibly can, because the ethics board and I have had conversations where I've withdrawn from cases where I have to move the court in criminal cases and say, I'm not on this case anymore. I've either been fired or there's a breakdown in the attorney-client relationship. I should not be the attorney on this case anymore. And the court has to give me leave to get off the case in a criminal. So in those circumstances, there are very narrow things. Most times the client will waive privilege and say, just give like full conversations that we've had. And I usually go, that's not accurate as to what that conversation was about. But you can see, Judge, that this is why I should not be representing this person anymore, because they clearly have a negative view of the advice that I'm given, and we should part ways.
So they've opened the door on it, essentially, is what you're saying. They've opened a door, and there are certain things you are then allowed to admit to. Otherwise, you can't necessarily say, hey, yeah, I'm so-and-so's attorney on this case. You just can't do that. There's protections there.
Yep. The other would be if there's a present intent to commit a crime that's expressed to me. If someone has a present intent or is going to commit an offense and expresses that they're going to commit said offense, then that's typically not protected. That would actually make me an accessory to the crime. If I kept it. Yeah. And there's a lot of fiction out there that kind of runs these types of concepts of client confidentiality and where they start and where they stop. And they do a fairly good job of it. But for the most part, I can't tell you anything about, I'm not supposed to share with you the name of my client. If someone asks me about the client or the case and it's a closed case, I can talk about what's in public record. That's pretty much all I can. If it's not contained within a public record, if it's not for public consumption, I can't discuss it. So
what would that look like? Like what would be
for example, to the public? Yep, absolutely. So client charged with criminal sexual conduct in the first degree, pleads guilty. We have a sentencing. All of his relatives and the victims in the case come and give their plea to the court why that person shouldn't go to prison. And all of that goes on the public record. It's, out there for public consumption. So if someone comes in and asks me about that case, I can discuss what's in that record.
The outcome, basically, it sounds like.
Yeah, the outcome or the information that was shared during a public hearing.
I see. So
even if they weren't present for it, if it would be on a transcript, then I can discuss that information to express, how, the biggest question from many of my colleagues is, how did you keep that guy out of prison? Or how did you keep the guy who murdered or who pled guilty to murder in the third degree regarding a drug overdose? Or, how did you do these things? Like, what was the kind of the roadmap, or why did you think that this was the best way to resolve the case?
Now that's interesting, because you brought up that's like academic almost. Is there barriers in a professional sense, or is there also lines in a academic sense, like educating and teaching and sharing with experiences? And
again, I don't think that they're mutually exclusive because again, I'm relying only on what the law says and what the public record is.
So you're being a tape recorder, basically.
yes and no, because my analysis is teaching here's how this works. Here's how you get those results. Here's how you get those results over the objection of the prosecutor. Here's how you get those results, even if they appeal it. Those are the things, and the fact patterns have to be pretty. They got to pretty much fit in the suitcase that I've got. The one where I've tried these things at the sentencing level so many times. I know what you need to do to show to get the result you're looking for, but in large part in those situations, it has a lot more to do with the client and the victim in the case than it does with me, because their decisions are going to impact it to a greater extent than anything I'm going to say or do. It's just I'm giving the proper legal advice as we go along so that the client does what they're supposed to do. And then we, cross fingers and hope that the victims are on board with our potential result. So, but that's just that circumstance where I could share information, but it's not confidential information. It's not what my client and I talked about. It's not, I haven't given you the facts of the case, and I probably wouldn't discuss the facts of either of those cases publicly, although those facts of those cases could be found in a public record. So, yeah.
Got it. Is there a name for like the overarching client attorney privilege? Is there a law or anything that people? It's
ethics. It's all the ethics rules, attorney-client privilege, ethics rules. What that covers, what that entails, and there's plenty of times throughout a 21-year career where you call the ethics board and go, "Boy, I got a fact pattern for you folks," and and you give it. And it's a law school exam question, and it's one that you think you know the answer, but you need somebody else to tell you. And there's been only on one occasion where they've told me to do something that I'm like, the fuck I'm going to do that? Like, what? Are you kidding me? I'm supposed to do what? And I go, that's it. That's like the opposite what I thought I was supposed to do. Like, nope, this is what you do. I said, okay. And I did it. And law enforcement didn't care. And I went, okay, well, I've done my job. I've done what I need to do. It was really messed up.
That feels really uncomfortable.
It was really uncomfortable. It was all just stupid. But that's the fun of a criminal defense attorney, man. You just never know what's going to happen.
Well, did you have anything else important you wanted to touch on? Because I figured we're not near time, but I have a fair amount to talk about.
No. You go ahead. I covered everything. I just want people to know that every time that you're talking to a third party, you're pretty much waiving any kind of privacy or privilege that you might have with someone else. You go to a doctor's appointment, share what you got. You go to a your lawyer's office and tell them what you talked about. Where's you've waived your privilege. Don't do that if you don't want to, because HIPAA is a thing, and the Minnesota rule of ethics is a thing. And take it away, Dr. Dan.
So you brought up a very important piece of legislature that governs my day in and day out. And it's hard to, if I'm asking a lot of questions, it's mainly because it really echoes a lot about what I was going to talk about. So I think everybody kind of knows of HIPAA. I know we've talked about it a fair amount. What do you guys think? Don't Google it. Stop Googling. Close it. What do you think HIPAA stands for? If you took a guess, Pat, go.
Healthcare Information Patient.
Wrong.
Okay,
Ben,
cool.
Wrong. All right, Ben, your turn.
Hippocratic.
Nope. Wrong. All right, everybody's wrong.
You know what it means? It means don't talk about your patient's stuff.
Association.
So it's Health Insurance Portability and Accountability Act, but everybody kind of knows it as the Health Information Bill that people talk about. It passed in 96. It served the main purpose of protecting patient information as it's used, and what are the circumstances in which it is permissible for healthcare entities to share patient information. And the scope of that is pretty narrow. So ultimately, health insurers and health providers can share their information with people who are directly related to the patient's care. So if you refer to another doctor, they have access to that patient's records. To the payers, so the health insurance company itself, as we could probably guess, since they're the ones who end up deciding whether or not it gets paid for. We have a whole episode that talks about that. Check that out I guess it released last week, didn't it? Ultimately, HIPAA is really interesting because I think it does a lot of important things, because you talk about like, hey, I can't say I even represented this person until it's on the public record. There's no public record for medicine. There is no version of this that becomes readily available to people. So I think there are a lot of breaches of it that people don't realize are actually rules. So like, let me say I've got an encrypted, protected, password enforced phone like you do, Pat, and I have patient information on it. Let's say that encryption never gets broken. Let's say no one ever accesses my phone, but I lost my phone. Did I break HIPAA?
Well, I don't know. I don't think so, because
no one
if
accesses
you lose
the
your
information, right?
If someone has to access it and you have the ability to, like I had talked about before, to shut that down, like talk to your provider, say I lost my phone, I need you to disable it. Then no, nobody's gonna be able to access it. So short answer,
notably,
no.
Both Apple and Google have the within the Find My Phone for both of those types, wipe my phone.
Yeah,
just as a PSA.
I tried to trick you.
That seems a bit more extreme of a solution to the problem, but like, hey, Verizon, could you just like deactivate my phone?
Nuke my phone.
This phone will disrupt in 30 seconds.
So I tried to trick you. It's you're right. If it's unencrypted, you've broken HIPAA. If I lose my phone and I had like a patient's photo of their wound, that's probably safe. But if it like has their face in it, I have broken HIPAA and I am liable to like punitive action. That includes laptops.
Yeah, well, what's the damages? Well, see, I mean, you're going to get from the board. You're going to get a slap on the wrist, but the reality is, if somebody saw the picture in connection with the wound, and it was just like one person, and that person said, "Oh, I saw this, but I'm not going to say anything to anybody about it," and doesn't, there is no damage. So it's not like you're going to subject yourself to suit as if it was like. If it was sent to a whole bunch of people and it was the wound that was on her buttocks, so to speak, that would be
buttocks.
Yes, I had to throw that. That would be a different fact pattern. That would be a different fact pattern. It's on Reddit. Everybody's seen it and shared it. It's a different thing.
Different story, and there's the reason those rules exist is because those things have happened in those exact contexts. So those cases exist, and it's not even a matter of it's like, oh, I saw you in so and so's office. That is not protected to HIPAA. If somebody just happens to be leaving a doctor's office, you can't protect people's physical form and what have you. But if somebody saw a photo of a person, like let's say you lost your phone and somebody found out, or you're in the hallway of the hospital and you mentioned so and so's in room so and their longtime friend on a different floor heard you've breached HIPAA because people have heard those things. Oh, I heard you were in the hospital. I overheard Dr. So-and-so in the office. And they said you had to go to the hospital. Are you okay? I'm just checking in because I'm concerned. You've broken HIPAA. You have actually violated those protective measures because the word of their care got to somebody else and then it got back to them, and people have filed complaints. And I call them frivolous, but they are important. That's a whole debate and another discussion. Let me run this one by you, because those are the circumstances people don't think about, like, the elevator conversations. Like, if you're talking about a patient, if you give any amount of identifying information, I've talked about what identifying information means, like a last name, patient identification number, but even the vague things, like a very, very specific description, like a particular tattoo that somebody has on their leg of Gandalf. That's PHI. Do you know that? Yeah. I can identify you by your tattoo, Pat. And if I say that, the man with the buttocks wounds with the Gandalf leg tattoo, I have broken HIPAA. A lot of there's other things too that's really sort of vague. Like, let's say you have a healthcare entity and they're going to refer to an office and they're going to refer to a Dr. Schmidt, and they send it to Dr. Smith's office. Did they violate HIPAA?
No, they just didn't read.
Well,
it depends. It depends. Did Dr. Smith's office?
Yeah, go ahead.
Well, did Dr. Smith's? Did they catch it in time for Dr. Smith's office not to open it or review it or look at it? That would be the key fact. Just by virtue of sending it, you can recall emails and information all of the time in this day and age, and ask people not to open things. Because trust me, I've done it in my own practice where I fucked up and sent something I wasn't supposed to, and told the attorney not to open it. Once it got there, one time, but
once it happened once, and then I learned my lesson. I guess it comes down to what the law says and what the judge had for breakfast, right? So I think by the letter of the law, technically the sending of like a fax is the example they use because that's just a hardcover piece of information.
Yeah.
And if it gets reviewed, then yes, they did.
Yeah,
because they shared information with an incorrect entity, somebody who's not directly related to the patient's care. You meant to send it to the oncologist and you sent it to the dermatologist. That dermatologist had no business seeing that information. So these are the things people don't think about. That I get that you're sorting through the minutia, Pat, but like these are the things that doctors' offices have to think about every day because your MAs don't know this and they send faxes left and right. So then if they put in the wrong person or the wrong doctor's office, well, it's a healthcare entity. Yeah, but it's the wrong one. So
yeah, that's good. That's a good distinction to make because I don't think normal folks would go like, but you send it to a doctor. Who cares? No. But you send it to the wrong doctor. HIP is between you and your doctor and your doctor's office and the other doctor that you authorize us to send the information to pursuant to the referral, not to send it to every doctor in the United States. I mean, as a more exaggerated example.
Yeah, and to give like some context on why these things are important is like the waivers and the things people do to share. And I'm just looking at you, TikTok, and I'm looking at Vine back in the day and YouTube. The way that people do, the Dr. Pimple Poppers of the world, it makes me cringe really, really significantly because like the protective measures that patients can just give away and sign away those rights, they don't realize how powerful the rights they have are. So like I'm talking about these fringe examples because people go, oh, well, why does that matter? I'm like, it does because it's your information. If you don't want somebody to have it, then you have all these protective measures.
Your comments are making my point. People just don't have any, like, they overshare everything about their entire lives these days, like to random freaking strangers or people on the street. So it's
thousands of people on the internet.
Yes, I know. It's so, yeah, you make a good point that the thought process of people is like, yeah, so who cares if they know about my buttocks wound or my hemorrhoid? I mean, I've been talking about that thing for weeks on the interwebs. It's just like, okay.
Actually, that's a good Leo question because then I don't actually. There's so many things in fringe situations I want to ask you. Like, so they say if you dispose of patient health information, if you shred it. So what's shredded enough? Do you have to run it through an industrial shredder that shreds it by X number of millimeters and thin strips that it would take an exorbitant amount of effort?
No, actually, your best practices is to give it to a company that deals specifically with shredding documentation.
Yeah, that's what most healthcare entities do.
That's what most law offices do.
I assume that those companies, like, by their nature, everything you give us is
confidential.
Yeah, confidential.
Yeah.
Obviously, we can't read it. It is, we dump the things in and it just, and then it incinerates it or something.
We have a big box that's basically a covered lock box type thing that all the documents we want to shred goes into.
Same.
And it never actually sees light once it's in that box. The company that disposes of it comes in, picks up the box, unlocks it, pulls it out, and then those papers, I don't think, see the light of day again. I don't know if they go into an incinerator or what. But I'm like, if I run this in my shredder at home, I just think of that Batman movie where Danny DeVito's Penguin shows all the shredded paper taped together of some important legal document. I don't remember what the context
Notably, this is why crosscut shredders exist now and have existed since the 90s, because just strips, you can
piece those together.
Yeah, but like crosscut,
we're getting way too far afield. I think the more important thing in this day and age would be how are you your patient's data electronically? How are you storing your client's data electronically? That is a greater imperative because best practices are exactly like you're describing, Dan. I do it in my law firm. You do it in your practice as far as like hard copy material. But if you're in the cloud, do you have the appropriate encryptions? Do you have the appropriate
who's liable if the cloud gets broken into? Is it the people?
Well, that's interesting. That's interesting. Yeah. That's interesting because it's a different question if the company gets breached versus you getting breached. And I mean, we've got our own folks that watch our 24/7 on our server or our cloud servers. And I can't control what Dropbox does as far as their cloud protection are concerned. I can only protect my side of the material. If Dropbox has that, then they're just liable. If we're pursued because there's an inappropriate disclosure that harms someone, we're going to go after those that harmed our clients because we weren't the ones that did it, because we have the appropriate protections, the safeguards that are required by the ethics board.
Exactly. So. I think the last example I'm leading off with is just not a fringe example, because it actually happens all the effing time. Like poor Nicole, I think this happened to her recently, not her own fault. It just happened because somebody faxed an input, like a medical assistant or somebody who does data entry, put the wrong patient's information into the wrong chart because they had the same last and first name. Yes, this happens. And they didn't verify the date of birth.
Yeah.
She was afraid she was telling somebody they had cancer who didn't have cancer. So those type of breaches happen all the time. And those are the ones people think of. And yes, those are covered. But just realize, folks, you have way more rights in terms of your information and protection than you realize. At least in these two very narrow contexts.
Yeah, unless, of course, you decide to go on the interwebs and waive that right by sharing all of your medical or legal information with other people, in which case you've ignored your doctors and lawyers. So that's fine. You can do that.
Yeah, if you want to go on TikTok and post your buttocks wound, you can. Just realize you've waived a lot of the backlash that may come with that. And, someone was supposed to tell me this. No, you're supposed to know this. That's kind of what I had to talk about for HIPAA. I guess I have something tangentially related as far as like doctors keeping their privacy and keeping my phone number out of people's hands. I realized I was hanging out with John and then meeting people on like the pickleball court and then at our birthday and sharing numbers. And every time I give somebody my phone number, I'm like, there are people that would pay thousands of dollars to get this information. I don't know if you guys wanted to talk about like protecting your identity and your information here on a public podcast. What you do? I mean, really, when I call patients, it's like *67 or like a third-party app like Doximity that calls from an outside number, from a quote-unquote doctor's office number. I do that all the time to talk to patients. I don't know if you do anything, if you just give your patients your phone number and chat with them, Pat.
Patients or clients?
Well,
clients. Yeah, there you go.
So
those ones.
You and I are different in how our practices work and what we do. And so my cell phone's on the website. My cell phone's on my business card. I do set boundaries when people call me at strange hours on non-emergent basis. So if you call me outside of business hours on my cell phone, I'm going to go, something better be on fire if you're calling me at 8:00 at night.
Oh God.
If it's Saturday morning at 6 a.m. and you're calling me to talk to your lawyer, somebody better be dead or you're under arrest and you need to talk to me. And they go, I said, then it can wait until Monday, because no, unless it's an emergency, I'm billing you double on a Saturday at 6:00 in the morning. I'm sorry.
6:00? Gee, I'm sure it happens.
Are you kidding? How about 3:00 in the morning on a Saturday where someone's getting popped for a D-dub, or I don't know.
Then they're getting arrested.
Could be 9 a.m. on a Sunday. It could be 9 a.m. on a Sunday, man. I mean, they haven't gone to bed yet. I mean, I get calls at all hours, but it better be emergent. If it's not within business hours and it's on the weekend, it better be something like that where they are being arrested or need instant legal advice. Otherwise, they can wait until Monday. So yes, I have my cell phone and I am available on an emergency basis outside of normal business hours through the cell phone, and inside of business hours if I'm out of the office during. But I do set some boundaries for that. But the rando that you gave your cell phone to at the pickleball tournament, that person cannot be calling me on a weekend asking me just a random legal question, because I'm going to be like, here's the thing. No, don't ever call me again. This is totally inappropriate. We barely know each other. Why are you asking this random legal question? But most oftentimes, though, I'll get texts or even Facebook messages where people are asking if I handle certain types of cases. That's an okay thing. But calling me up and asking me random legal questions, no, you're going to get burned.
Why do you think there's this difference in terms of expectations? Because that is like everyone who I have ever talked to, the second they learn that I'm a doctor, oh, hey, I hurt my knee like a month ago and it's not getting better. Oh, hey, I got this rash on my grundle. Could you take a look? Fucking no. No. I could start charging or billing you, but then I have to document. And I mean, mind you, in American law and the American healthcare system, if I write it down on a napkin and keep that in my pocket, that will satisfy the board. But I have to document that I had an encounter with you, and it has to meet criteria for what.
And that's different from lawyers. That's different than lawyers. I don't have to.
But that's if I bill you. So if I say, "Hey, I'll look at your grundle for $100," I then have to document what it looked like, how long it's been going on for. I have to document what our treatment plan is and what our follow through will be. Like at least that's my understanding. But I don't do that.
I got invited.
I tell them, "Hey, this is what I think is going on," but then the disclaimer is you should go see your doctor or come see me in the clinic and I can do something about it. And that's usually a pretty safe disclaimer. Because it's like, well, if it gets worse, go to the ER, go to a higher level of care, or just come see me where I do this for a living. But anyways, yeah, I don't allow my patients to have my number because this is an opinion question, Pat. Why do you think there's that discrepancy? And maybe there isn't. Maybe you just shut them down better than I do. Where we have a call line for this very reason, because people call in for important things, but then the most inane questions ever. And if they had my phone number, I would be getting questions at 9:00 on a Friday evening or phone calls. Hey, I took this medicine you prescribed and I kind of made me feel a little tired. I'm like, yeah, that's one of the side effects. We talked about this in the office. I don't know what it is about doctors' offices. The studies have shown people only remember about 20% of what you tell them.
Oh yeah. That's why I tell my folks 3 to 6 times and then typically then it's absorbed. Additionally, when, no, but I mean 3 to 6 different like encounters, not 3 to 6 times just on that one visit. You have to understand that when people come to us, they're anxious, they're worried, they're stressed, and people don't absorb information very well under those circumstances. That's one thing. And then 2, with randos or even existing clients calling me, I'm just an asshole. I have private time and I have my own life. And no, you can't invade it with your inane question. You can wait until Monday, and if you don't like it, throw a rock, hit a lawyer, go find somebody who's willing to take your phone calls on a Saturday and not bill you $700 an hour, because that's what I'm going to do. Because I value my private time, because I've to a point.
Hey, because privacy matters.
Yeah,
anyways.
my time is my time. Your time, when I'm working on your case, it's your dime. I'm 100% focused. So.
And that's what I tell patients. I know it's 15 minutes, but you get my full attention for 15 minutes. And if we need more time, we'll have you back. And let's be honest, I'm not as good as you at telling people no. So 15
you're good
minutes
there.
will turn into 25 minutes.
That's
You're
what I
good
tell
there.
satellites too.
Yeah. Do they listen?
No.
Hey, I gotta tell you, my doctors spend a heck of a lot more time with me than just their 15 minutes. And it's probably because they just don't want to get sued for malpractice, so.
Well, shit. Okay, I don't either. I spend more time. Shut up. Anyway,
I was saying that more in the context of me being a lawyer than you being a doctor. You dumb, but it does cut both ways, doesn't it?
From. I know what you were saying.
Oh, okay.
I know what you also meant. Yeah. All right, we're wrapping up the episode. Wrapping up the episode. Fucking shut up. All right. Thank you for joining me. Thank you for joining us, listeners. Thank you, too, for being here. Appreciate you guys.
Appreciate you, too. Love you, brother.
Love you, brother. Shut the fuck up. Follow us on all social media. Listen to, subscribe, follow Spotify, Apple, Google Podcasts, etc. Listen, download the episodes, show support. Let us know if there are things you want to hear about. And we will see you guys in the next episode. Thank you, and take care.